I have to be honest for a second. Today is one of those days that I couldn't care less about crypto in totality. And I also think this is part of the journey. Not just the clicking the buy button, but also staying when it feels pointless. And quick note before we jump in, there was a previous version that I took down of this. And in that version, I just want to correct Ripple's European custody operations come through their acquisition of Metaco, not standard custody, as I mentioned, but both do matter. And the main point that I wanted to make or correct was Metaco powers the European side of the story. And here we are. So it's really easy to get caught up for me with the views, the comparisons, the rush of seeing someone call the next big move and wanting to believe that this time it'll be different. When I hold myself up to all this noise or next to all this noise, it's no wonder I actually want to quit. It makes everything I'm doing feel small. But then something shifted earlier today. I remembered you don't just rip up the garden you've planted just because someone else's garden grew faster or because the sun isn't shining on a certain day, or because self sabotage feels easier than sitting still and digging deeper. Right now, I'm learning a new language, not words or grammar, but a new way of thinking. Some days it feels like I've forgotten everything that I've learned, and I do want to quit. But if I quit, what then? Maybe that's why I keep showing up. Not because I'm certain, because this is not the case, but because my curiosity is in fact stronger than my doubt. So here I am, diving back into this world of crypto and XRP and Ripple. And also, I think it's also the reason I'm here is because even in the boredom, something's actually happening. And like Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said, and I kind of justly am quoting this very loosely, but building within the financial world is boring and sometimes slow. And to me, and what I've learned, boring is what creates lasting change in the world. So let's continue to look at what it's like in Europe and this quiet revolution that I believe is happening. The European Union is made up of 27 countries with 27 different languages and centuries of history between them all. Somehow, they have managed to agree on one thing: a consistent rule book for digital assets, and that's called MiCA, the Markets and Crypto Assets Framework. And it's just a quick loop around to this. And MiCA was implemented in late 2024. MiCA gives companies like Ripple a unified set of rules across all EU member states. Ripple doesn't yet hold an actual MiCA license, but they're aligned through their business model and their technology to fit within MiCA standards. Working closely at this moment with regulators in countries like Luxembourg to secure approval. That kind of clarity is exactly what opens up the door for major banks to step in, including one of Europe's most forward thinking, which is called BBVA. BBVA is doing something quite unique, and I actually think that they're leading with purpose. And what I mean by this, not only BBVA, first of all, is one of Spain's largest banks with over 77 million clients and $10 billion in profit in 2024. Two-thirds of their new clients or customers joined digitally, showing how quickly they've adopted to this new financial era. They're also global leaders in sustainability. They've channeled over 300 billion euros into sustainable businesses since 2018 and dedicating over 567 million euro to social programs that have benefited over 100 million people. This is huge. Their chairman, Carlos Torres Vila, summed it up perfectly. We aim to maximize the potential of artificial intelligence and next generation technologies with empathetic. Wow, I'm leaving this in there. They have a lot of empathy, and a winning team, and focused on creating value for all stakeholders. And now, that innovation journey includes Ripple. We've also gone over how Ripple has dedicated through their board of directors and even through Brad Garlinghouse a commitment of being focused and on top of their mission and sticking to this. So I think this like marriage is so beautiful. BBVA Spain joins BBVA Switzerland and BBVA Turkey, both already working with Ripple on digital custody and real-time money transfer pilots. This connection ties back to Ripple's acquisition of Metaco, a Switzerland-based custody firm serving institutional clients across Europe. Through Metaco, Ripple now offers regulated digital asset custody, the kind that allows banks like BBVA to securely store Bitcoin and Ethereum, and eventually beyond. This was a turning point for Ripple. It brought Ripple closer to the traditional banking system in one of the most compliance-driven regions in the world. And across the Atlantic, Ripple has also acquired Standard Custody and Trust Company, giving them key U.S. regulatory licenses, like the New York Trust Charter and money transmitter approvals. This strengthens their legal foundation for enterprise adoption. Together, Metaco, which is in Europe, and Standard Custody, which is in the United States, form the backbone of Ripple's global strategy, building the rails for storing, moving, and exchanging value with full regulatory clarity. So, it's not loud, it's not flashy, it's the kind of boring that quietly changes everything. When I scroll through crypto YouTube, I see similar thumbnails. 10x by Friday, last chance before the moon. And honestly, I personally have no idea when this explosion will happen. But I'm learning to celebrate the smaller moments. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. Because in this space and in life, it can be so easy for me to only focus on or only want to celebrate when the bouquet of flowers is perfect, wrapped in paper and tied with a ribbon. But what about the moment the rosebud first forms? That's where the magic starts. The quiet growth that no one sees. And that's how I see Ripple right now. Not through hype, not through a chart, but the slow, patient work of building something that lasts. Because without those unseen phases, the bloom never happens. And just maybe, that is what Ripple is tending to right now. A garden that isn't ready to be picked just yet, but it is being really rooted into the future of finance. If this message landed with you, or even if this is your own season of quiet growth, share this with someone who might need the reminder. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so we can keep growing through this boring, beautiful part of the story together. Till next time. This is Layer 1 by James Harris. Thanks for joining me.